Okay, picture this. You're working at a newspaper, and your boss calls you into his office. He looks at your work and says, "You're fired. You lack imagination and have no good ideas." Ouch, right? That would crush most people. But what if I told you that the person who got fired for lacking creativity went on to create Mickey Mouse, Disneyland, and literally invented the animated film industry? His name was Walt Disney. And before he built the most magical place on Earth, he was told he wasn't creative enough. He went bankrupt. He got betrayed by people he trusted. He failed so many times that most people would have quit, but Walt didn't quit. He dreamed bigger. And today, the company he built is worth over $150 billion. Today, Lily and I are diving into the story of Walt Disney, the man who proved that imagination is the most powerful business tool in the world. And we're brainstorming a business idea inspired by his story that you can start this week. This is Tallie Talks. Let's get this show started.
She's got a mind, she's got a spark, lighting up dreams from dawn to dark. Tallie Talks, yeah, she's the voice, asking the questions, making the choice. Young hustlers rising, stories to tell, big ideas where passions dwell. Pull up a chair, grab your seat, let's talk the hustle, let's feel the beat. Tallie Talks, yeah, Tallie Talks, turning whispers into walks, dreaming big, take the shot. This is the place where dreams get called. Tallie Talks, oh, Tallie Talks, Tallie Talks. Ooh, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Season 2 of Tallie Talks. I'm Tallie Pennyworth, and we are on fire this season. Last week, we talked about Milton Hershey, the chocolate king who failed 4 times before building his empire.
And we learned that failure is just information. You keep going, you keep learning.
Exactly. And today, we're talking about someone who took that lesson to heart in the biggest way possible. Lily, welcome back.
Thanks, Tallie. I am so excited about this episode. Walt Disney is one of my favorite entrepreneurs ever.
Mine too. Okay, before we dive in, quick question. What's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, that's hard. I think The Lion King. The music, the story, everything about it is perfect.
Great choice. I'm a Moana girl myself. How Far I'll Go is basically my theme song.
I love that.
Okay, so let's talk about Walt Disney. Most people know him as the guy who created Mickey Mouse and Disneyland, but his story is so much more than that.
It really is. Because before Walt Disney became a household name, he was broke, betrayed, and told he had no talent.
Let's get into it.
So Walt Disney was born in 1901 in Chicago, but his family moved around a lot. His dad was really strict and not very supportive of Walt's creative interests. Walt loved to draw from a young age, and when he was in high school, he took art classes at night while also working to help support his family.
So he was hustling young.
Absolutely. When he was 16, World War I was happening, and Walt wanted to serve his country. He was too young to enlist, so he lied about his age and joined the Red Cross. He spent a year driving ambulances in France.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, and while he was there, he drew cartoons on the side of his ambulance and sold sketches to other soldiers. He was always creating, always looking for ways to make money from his art.
So he comes back from the war, and then what?
He got a job at a Kansas City newspaper as an illustrator. And this is where the famous story happens. After a few months, his editor fired him and told him he lacked imagination and had no good ideas.
Wait, what? Walt Disney? No imagination?
Right? It's one of the most ironic firings in history, but Walt didn't let it stop him. He started his own animation company with a friend. It was called Laugh-O-Gram Studio.
Okay, I love that name.
They made short animated films, fairy tale parodies, stuff like that. And they were actually pretty good. But here's the problem. Walt was amazing at creating, but he wasn't great at business yet. He didn't charge enough for his work, and he trusted the wrong people.
Uh-oh.
The company went bankrupt. Walt was 22 years old, totally broke, and living in his studio because he couldn't afford rent. He was eating canned beans and, according to legend, befriending the mice that lived in his office.
Wait, the mice that inspired Mickey Mouse?
Possibly. Some people think so. But at this point, Walt had failed twice, fired from the newspaper, then his company went under. So what does he do?
Knowing Walt, he doesn't give up.
Exactly. He packed up everything he had, which wasn't much, and moved to Hollywood with $40 in his pocket.
Okay, so he's in Hollywood. What happens next?
Walt and his brother Roy started a new animation studio called Disney Brothers Studio, which would eventually become Walt Disney Productions. And this time, Walt had a hit. He created a character called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and people loved it.
Oswald, I've heard of him.
Yeah, Oswald cartoons were popular, and Walt thought he was finally on his way. But then, betrayal.
Oh no.
Walt's distributor, the guy who was supposed to be his partner, went behind his back and stole the rights to Oswald. He also convinced most of Walt's animators to leave and work for him instead.
That's terrible.
Walt was devastated. He'd worked so hard, and once again, he'd lost everything. But here's where Walt's genius really shows. On the train ride back to California, he started sketching a new character. A mouse. A mouse with big, round ears, a cheerful personality, and a name.
Mickey Mouse.
Yep, Mickey Mouse was born out of one of Walt's darkest moments.
I love that. So losing Oswald led to creating Mickey.
Exactly. And in 1928, Walt released Steamboat Willie, the first Mickey Mouse cartoon with synchronized sound. It was revolutionary. Nobody had done anything like it before.
So that was the breakthrough.
That was the breakthrough. Mickey became a sensation. Within a few years, Walt Disney was a household name.
Okay, so Mickey makes him famous. But Walt didn't stop there, right?
Not even close. Walt was never satisfied with just doing what everyone else was doing. He always wanted to push boundaries. So in 1937, he decided to make the first ever full-length animated film.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yes, and everyone thought he was crazy. People in Hollywood called it Disney's Folly because they thought nobody would sit through a full-length cartoon. Walt bet everything on it. He even mortgaged his house to finish the film.
That's a huge risk.
Massive. But when Snow White premiered, it was a phenomenon. People cried in the theaters. It made over $8 million, which is like $180 million today. Walt had invented a whole new art form.
That's incredible.
And he didn't stop. He made Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, Bambi, all these classics. But Walt's biggest dream? He wanted to create a place where families could go and experience magic together. A theme park.
Disneyland.
Yes. But once again, people thought he was nuts. Theme parks in the 1950s were dirty, dangerous places. Walt wanted to build something clean, safe, and immersive, where every detail mattered. He called it Disneyland.
And when did it open?
July 17th, 1955 in Anaheim, California. And it was a disaster on opening day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the pavement was so fresh that women's high heels sank into it. Rides broke down. There weren't enough drinking fountains. The press called it Black Sunday.
Oh no.
But Walt didn't panic. He fixed the problems, listened to feedback, and kept improving. Within a year, Disneyland was the most popular tourist destination in America, and it's still one of the most visited places on Earth. Walt Disney died in 1966, but his legacy is everywhere. The Walt Disney Company is one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world. They own Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, ESPN, ABC, the list goes on.
And Disney parks are on every continent except Antarctica.
Exactly. Disney films have won more Academy Awards than any other studio, and it all started with a guy who was told he had no imagination.
That's honestly inspiring.
And here's what I love most about Walt. He always believed that if you could dream it, you could do it. That was his philosophy. Dream big, work hard, and don't let anyone tell you it's impossible.
I love that. Okay, we're going to break down the lesson in just a minute, but first, a quick commercial break. Hey, quick reminder. If you're loving this season of Tallie Talks, you have got to check out my co-host Lily's podcast, Blueprints of Power. She does it with her friends Jack and Charlie, and they break down the wildest empires in history, like the Romans, the Mongols, the Ottomans, and make it hilarious and fascinating at the same time. The entire first season is available right now on YouTube. It's like a history class you actually want to pay attention to. So go subscribe, binge the episodes, and let them know Tallie sent you. That's Blueprints of Power on YouTube. Trust me, you'll love it. Let's get back to the show. All right, we're back. So Lily, what's the big lesson from Walt Disney's story?
The lesson is your biggest failures can lead to your greatest successes if you refuse to give up. Walt got fired. He went bankrupt. He got betrayed. But every time he failed, he learned something, and he used that knowledge to build something even better.
So it's like failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the path to success.
Exactly. And here's the other lesson. Always innovate. Walt didn't just copy what other people were doing. He created synchronized sound cartoons, the first animated feature film, the modern theme park. He was always asking, what hasn't been done yet? What's the next big thing?
So don't just follow trends, create them.
Yes. And one more thing, attention to detail matters. Walt was obsessive about every little thing in his films and his parks. He believed that magic was in the details. If you want to create something people love, you have to care about every piece of it.
I love that. So turn your failures into fuel. Always innovate, don't just copy, and sweat the details because that's where the magic happens.
Perfect.
All right, time for the kid business brainstorm. Lily, what business idea should we pitch based on Walt Disney's story?
Okay, so Walt was all about creating magical experiences, right? He didn't just make movies, he made people feel something. He transported them to different worlds.
Right? So what if kids created an experience-based business?
Yes, like a kids' party experience company.
Ooh, I love this. Okay, break it down.
So instead of just offering basic party entertainment, kids could create themed, immersive party experiences. Think about it. Parents are always looking for creative birthday party ideas. What if you could offer a complete package?
Like what kind of themes?
You could do a Princess Academy, teach kids royal etiquette, have them make crowns, do a ball with music and dancing, or a superhero training camp, obstacle courses, cape decorating, superhero certificate at the end, or a young inventor's workshop. Kids build simple machines or do science experiments.
Oh, that's so fun. Or a mystery detective party where kids solve clues around the house or yard.
Yes. Or an around-the-world adventure where each activity represents a different country. Make pizza for Italy, origami for Japan, paint maracas for Mexico.
Okay, I'm obsessed. So how would this work?
You'd create a menu of different party packages. Each package includes a theme, activities, decorations, and you as the party host or guide. Parents book you, and you bring everything to their house or a park.
And you could have different price levels, like a basic package with 2 to 3 activities, or a deluxe package with decorations, goodie bags, and more activities.
Exactly. And here's the thing. You could start small. Create 1 or 2 themes you're really good at, test them out, get feedback, then add more themes as you go.
Just like Walt. He started with one mouse and built an empire from there.
Exactly. And what would kids learn? Event planning, customer service, creativity, time management, marketing, everything.
And here's what I love. You're not just selling a service. You're creating memories. You're making kids' birthdays magical. That's exactly what Walt did with Disneyland.
Yes, and you could even take photos during the party and create a little photo album or digital slideshow for the family afterward. That's the attention to detail Walt would love.
Ooh, and you could have a signature thing, like Walt had Mickey ears. You could have something every party includes, like a special birthday crown or a certificate of awesomeness or something.
I love that. So the business is Kids Party Experience Company. You create themed, immersive party experiences that parents book for birthdays or special events.
Start with 1 or 2 themes, perfect them, then expand. Focus on creating magical memories and sweating the details.
And you could market it through social media, flyers at schools, word of mouth. Once you do a few parties and parents see how amazing they are, the bookings will roll in.
Okay, who's going to start the Kids Party Experience Company? Let us know. Tag us on social media if you do it. All right, everyone, that's episode 2 of season 2. We dove into Walt Disney's story, the man who was fired for lacking imagination, then created the most magical entertainment empire in history.
Lesson: failure is part of the path. Keep innovating, pay attention to details, and create experiences people will never forget.
And our kid business idea. Kids Party Experience Company. Create themed, immersive birthday parties that parents will love and kids will remember forever.
Next week, we're talking about Coco Chanel, the woman who revolutionized fashion, built a billion-dollar brand, and proved that style and business can go hand in hand.
I cannot wait. Thanks for being here again, Lily.
Thanks, Tallie. This season is so fun.
And thank you for listening. If you love this episode, share it with a friend, leave us a review, and send us your business ideas. We might feature you in our season finale.
Because your dreams matter.
See you next time on Tallie Talks. Peace out.